Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeta here again today with a brand new video, and we are a couple days removed from the absolutely gigantic balance patch that saw a huge buff to Protoss, a health, as well as the changes to Fizzle and Jafar, but wanted to give you guys updated deck lists to try out, to climb with, whether it's standard or wild, or getting to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend. And as always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. So yeah, we're still looking at Shaman being one of the best classes in standard, if not the best, with Terran Shaman being neck and neck with Swarm Shaman as the best decks out there. Terran Shaman no longer going infinite with Fizzle. It's the more tempo version. We got siege tanks in there, so, do that damage after you have launched. Is it after you launch one starship? Yeah, it does that. And you have like insane early game, right? Especially with all these starship pieces that can deal damage. You get poisonous on the adapt stuff. You can clear the board, make me go salty and rant. And for some reason, Lock On is a Shaman card. Hunter's Mark in Shaman that discounts your starship. It's just, the deck can basically do it all, right? But now it can't go infinite. So it is a deck that can get controlled at the end of the day, but you have a lot of damage, you have a lot of value, you got a lot of starship pieces, and it is one of the best decks out there. So give it a go if you got the cards. Swarm Shaman, similar idea, just playing all those really good cards. We even have like Missile Pod in here just because the card's just good standalone. You don't need the whole starship package in there. It's just a ridiculous card, right? That you could just play it like that. And you got the tribal stuff going on in this version with like Party Animal, buffing up things, a particular backstage bouncer can give you a bunch of stats, and yeah, the weapon buff, and just play a lot of minions and eventually probably win the game. Like, it's just a very solid deck. It's been for a while. Rotation will definitely affect these decks when that happens, but until then, yeah, Shaman's gonna be top tier probably until rotation. Terran Warrior does appear to be the best control option out there. I just took Theo's list. Probably not ideal because Theo likes, not run like, ETC. You could put ETC and kill Jaden and stuff if you want. Although in this meta, you really don't want that. But yeah, you got the hydration station stuff to bring back, whether it's on Kiliax, your starship pieces, and then you can win the late game with like Boom Boss, just blowing up your opponent's stuff. We all know how fun that is. And again, that'll be rotating, so that frustration point will be leaving. But overall, yeah, definitely one of the better slower decks out there with Virus Module, Perfect Module, Course. So you're going on Kiliax with all of that, and again, you got the starship stuff going on. Just no like Thor. Thor's not good enough out there, which is kind of sad because it is a pretty cool card. Zerg DK, as a lot of you guys probably know, really good with the Infestor. We're going the double frost route, so we can play the Infestor and then a Horn of Winter and Death Growl some stuff, or maybe a Yelling Yodeler it. And of course we have our hero card in Kerrigan, Reska, and I'm sure you've seen the deck plenty. It's funny, I've been, on my legend climb, maybe because I have higher MMR, I've only faced like one Zerg DK, like in the last couple days, but I do know this deck is very popular, maybe at lower MMR. What I normally face is a lot of Shaman, Warrior, and Rogue, which we'll talk about later. There's a Rogue deck out there, not Weapon Rogue, although I do face Weapon Rogue. Protoss Rogue is maybe actually good enough now, so we'll see that in a sec. Pain Priest, basically the best Pain Zarimi Priest. There are some Protoss cards in here. You got the Chrono Boost because, well, it's got charge, right? So that's pretty good. And you got Hallucination because you could copy the charge minion and go face with the charge minion, right? You can also like chill at Vol'jin. They got a big minion on the board, and you get out your charger and flip it, or just whatever minion on the board. And yeah, this is super aggressive, very much a face deck, but it's one of the best priest decks out there. Like, Hunter's about value and control, and Priest is about aggro for the most part. But I will have a video, by the way, on the slower control Priest. I did get some games on my legend climb. We gotta do one video where we go, the deck that won me this trophy. So probably gonna be tomorrow's video, because I am planning on trying to do a bit more gameplay videos as the main videos. We'll see if that works. If not, we'll just add it back as like, just extra content on top of things. It's just, there's only so much Hearthstone content out there, right? Yeah, and speaking of, Hunter being more of the control-y stuff, best looking Zerg deck outside of like pure aggro is the Zerg Discover Hunter, which I know Theo's played a lot of it, like High Legend, where it's similar to like the Discover Hunter from before. You don't go infinite with Fizzle, obviously, now anymore. But this deck didn't really do that. You had a lot of value with like Incendiuses. You can copy up one like Ceaseless, but you can cheat out the Seaside Giants with all those locations. But one of the big ways you can win with this deck is basically acquire a lot of like the 1/1s, what was it called, the Zerglings, right? Build up a bunch of those, get a couple of Hydraulists, or 3 of them if you can, and then like Ceaseless clear the board and then just flood the board and do like double Hydralisk to like kill your opponent. There's like lots of ways this deck can kill, and definitely not the easiest to pilot, but it is one of the better performing hunter decks out there. And that whole Discover package is just, yeah, it's pretty good. Location Warlock is a legitimate deck. I've been doing some of my climbing with it. Yeah, it turns out, yeah, cheating out 0 mana giants, really good. Sargeras, really good. Kerrigan, really good. There's a lot of really good cards in here. It's just, you got to survive to it, and it can go toe to toe with like the control-y decks. You don't even have like Wheel of Death. It's just not even needed because you have like Symphony of Sins, and you can mill your opponent, or you can bob and steal their win condition too, right? Like there's plenty of options, and this is probably one of my favorite decks in the meta just because it's really cool, right? The location stuff, slower deck, playing big giants, our ETC, we got Mind Control Tech, Viper, and Rat, and I definitely recommend it. I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun, and we've already done a video covering it, but yeah, one I higher on my list just because I like it a lot, right? Definitely biased. I hate Weapon Rogue. I'll just say that. It's good. I'll keep recommending it because it requires 1 epic. It's a deck you can climb with, but all you do is go face with your weapon, and that's it. And it's very polarizing. It can get dunked on, or it can dunk on other people, but I have to recommend it because it's so cheap and it is very good. Hero Power Druid, lower on the tier list these days. It's still playable. It's still got over 50% win rate. The whole Groovy Cat thing now working with Artanis, and you can push like a ridiculous amount of damage when you double Artanis's Hero Power with like a charge minion. And yeah, it's very similar to Weapon Rogue. Go face a lot, not really playing the big Protoss cards, just the face ones, but it is a good deck. And if you want to give it a go, it's definitely climbable. And then lastly, Protoss Rogue is like all the hotness right now. It's hovering around like a 50% win rate at like Legend and stuff. And it might be good enough to climb with. And I might probably I'm going to try and get a video tomorrow, Protoss Priest, and then the day after that, probably Protoss Rogue. Of course, if any news pops up, I'll do news videos. But regardless, it's like an OTK deck, kind of. Like, you get a lot of chip damage in with all your chargers from your Chrono Boost, and the idea is, right, you play your Artanis, and then your Templars are relatively cheap, and you can get, with the Buccaneer, if these are down to like 4 mana, for example, with just the hero card, then I can like Scoundrel and get down to 1, and Sonya, and get a bunch, right? Get a bunch of them out, and then I can cover Artist and copy 1, and just push a bunch of damage. So it's kind of like a burn deck. It's kind of like an OTK deck, and we're running like the weapon package of Quick Pick and Swarthy Sword Shiner just to like find stuff and push damage. So this deck seems to be close to good enough. So if you want to give it a go, yeah, the Templar Rogue does seem to be playable. I've already lost to it and complained because they played Shadow Step, and that made me upset because I don't like Shadow. You might not have heard, but I find that card annoying. So yeah, if you want to give it a go, and I'll try and get a video on it in the next like day or two. I'm sure like Clark will have one out. I saw him playing it all day, so I'm sure he'll have one out, but we'll try and get a Zeddy flavor on it. And in Wild sucks, man. Wild is not fun unless you like these decks, but yeah, Libram Paladin, I face this like almost every game I play of Wild right now. It's so popular. You just play 0 mana cards by like turns 3 and 4 like crazy, and then kill your opponent. Like, if you played Wild, you've seen this a lot. This list is doing well, but yeah, not a ton of fun to face just because, yeah, it's pure mana cheap. But I mean, no Wild deck is fun to face, as you will see. Shadow Priest just goes face. Highly recommended. Get this card. This card's like really good. You play it on 1, it's really hard to remove it, then you kill your opponent basically by turn 3 or 4 because you have so much burn and reach. It's just absurd. And yeah, it's pretty darn solid, pretty good, pretty gross. Big Shaman again, scam out. Giant minion, early on, whether it's Ancestress Call or cheating out a Muck Morpher, and then you do these things and then you win, or maybe you don't, and then you queue again and try again, and the games are super short and scammy, and yeah, you're just trying to cheat out giant stats fast, and it's one of the best decks out there, and I, again, just not a fan of it whatsoever. Hey, another deck that makes you want to uninstall Hostage Mage, never lets you leave with all the infinite ice blocks and the solid alibis, and the board freezes, and the dirty rats, the Theotars, the bobs, the dice. Good God, this is toxic. But if you want to play it, give it a go. Our ETC has Flurry, Light Show, and Potion of Illusion, mainly because the Potion of Illusion, we play it from outside of our deck, and then Romath goes infinite, and we can weave in Light Show and do infinite damage. I do like playing the deck, but my God, it should not exist whatsoever. And I actually played this deck. I recommended it last video, and I played it. It's not that bad. Reno Zerg Hunter. Pretty cool. Actually have Reno in this version. I've seen different ones that don't have it. ETC, we've got Serpent Bloom because it's so good with Dreadscale, Flare, and Ceaseless. And yeah, you kind of just could disrupt against like the Librams with like, we got Clumsy Steward and just Razor Scale and Silences, and then try and, you know, aggro down maybe the more slower decks. And it just kind of works. If you have this deck, it's super expensive. If you have the cards, give it a try. You might be surprised by what it can do, but yeah, overall, like, super expensive deck. Don't go out of your way to crafting it. I don't think you should go out of your way to playing Wild at all these days. It's just, to me, not a ton of fun. So there you go. Bunch of decks to try out. We probably won't see a balance patch until after the pre-order patch, which will introduce, of course, that early access legendary that oftentimes breaks the game. So we'll see, you know, that should be in a week or two. But until then, yeah, I'm going to probably highlight gameplay videos, weave in some news as we go along. But I've been playing a lot more ladder, so I kind of want to, you know, show off more gameplay. So let me know if that's something you guys are interested in. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.